All right, I think that should work. What is going on, YouTube? This is LA Prepper. We are doing a little bit of laundry. I think in one of my last videos, someone says, "Why does it look like you just wake up in all your videos?" Well, some of my videos I did just kind of wake up. Not really today. I've been up for a few hours. Oh, I didn't grab a napkin, but I really need one of those like bibs because this crumb donut is it's a mess. It's so good, but it's such a mess. Maybe oh, I can't resist. So, I'm going to start talking about a few different things today. We'll have a quick bike update. I think we've made a little bit of progress on the bike. I used a mirror to look under it because I thought it was leaking. It was leaking fuel. I couldn't figure out why it was leaking. So I turn the fuel on. I look under it. I don't see any fuel leaking, but well, I guess no one, right, Billy? That's kind of the funny thing about lives. But when someone who's not live watches the video, they're going to start from the beginning. So even if it's like 5 minutes till someone joins, I can't just sit there staring at the camera for 5 minutes, Billy Bird. That's the way I look at it anyways. But back to the bike. Long story short, there's a vacuum takeoff port on the bottom of the carb that is completely open right now. And I don't know why it is open. Not only is it open, but the port is missing. A little brass port sticking out of there, I think. Judging by a photo of another carb that I think is the same as mine. So I'm going to have to plug this port somehow. Make some little thing to put up there to plug it up. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to use. There's a small chance that the right part is in a box at home of motorcycle parts. Now that I know that it's missing, I would know what to look for. But I think I'm probably going to have to make it on my own. And it's annoying because it's a press fit. You know, it's just a smooth bore hole. It's not any threads or anything, which I guess might be harder anyway since I'd have to match the thread. But some people find motorcycles interesting. Dual sports, I think, are very interesting. More interesting. Well, to be honest, the topic of this video, which I can get into, which is something that's been on my mind, is whether or not it's kind of more advantageous to buy land. You know, if you're coming from renting, whether or not it's more advantageous to buy land or buy a house. That's kind of the topic of the video. What are you interested in, Billy? I have no idea. I have no idea what kind of stuff you're interested in. If you give me a few topics you're interested in, I'll do what I can. Do you like donuts? I love talking about donuts. So yeah, I'm not, you know, I don't have a lot of money saved up, and I don't make a lot of money, but I might be able to buy a cheap, rundown house somewhere in LA. Get out of my car and what? Walk around? Walk around my fair town? Or you mean like out in the forest? I'm in kind of the city right now. It's not very exciting. Make my lunch on a stove. I could, you know, I have at least one little stove. I don't think I have a propane stove. I think I have like an alcohol stove that Uncle Al or someone gave me. I know, Billy. The nature stuff. Why do you think I want the bike? To run, so I can go kind of scouting. The car is nice, but I don't always want to be driving the car and putting all those miles on it. So the idea was, aside from commuting to work on the bike, I plan on kind of getting out into nature a little bit on the bike, hitting up some fire trails and some forests and doing a little bit of exploring. But to be honest, I've just been working a lot and tired. So I haven't really been taking a lot of trips to the great outdoors, sadly. Yeah, but there's not much. I mean, I like doing nature videos and stuff like that, but, or, my top 5 favorite knives, or, a gear review of some. I was thinking about doing a gear review of my Doc Marten boots, since they're pretty decent. But, there are a lot of people on YouTube that kind of do the or bushcraft stuff, and I've kind of been thinking about my channel, and I'm not sure that's the most valuable thing I can bring to the table. Not to say that I couldn't do it. Oh my gosh, lady, why are you walking out in the street? What are you doing, lady? You never know. You never know, man. Sometimes people walk out in the street for weird reasons. You gotta. Here's some free life advice. Never assume people are gonna act normal around you. Doesn't mean they're gonna get all weird and freak out, but whether it's driving or just hanging out somewhere, you can never really assume people are like on the same wavelength as everyone around them. Sometimes you just kind of meet people a little bit out there. I know, Billy. It pains me that I've been in the city. It does. It pains me greatly. Someday I will live in a rural area somewhere. I mean, even now I could go, I could go find an apartment or buy a house way out in the country for a couple $100,000 or $300,000 or something, but I'd be like 2 hours away from where I work, or hour and a half away from where I work, and I can't drive that every day, 5 days a week, sometimes 6 days a week. It's too much. So back to my original question, topic of the video, house or land? If you're prepping for the upcoming apocalypse, well, it's not like I don't enjoy my life now. I mean, you got to make money somehow. And given that I presently am making money through, working with a large company. Not to say I couldn't make my own income, but supporting yourself full time on self-employment income, you really have to have, your business set up. And I've done self-employment stuff and I've made money, but to really, really consistent money, it's kind of a different level. I think I'm enjoying my life. I've had different experiences in life as far as not working as much all the time, and it's definitely nice. But I do enjoy what I do at work. It's definitely not a drudgery. Hours are a little bit long sometimes, but I mean, you got to work and save money, kind of live in the super budget lifestyle. Go buy some land, next to a forest for $5,000 or something. Get like 10 acres for $5,000 and get some chickens and just like raise your own, food. Live very much on the earth would be kind of an interesting life. But it's a city life for now. City life for now. Not much. Hopefully I'm not coming in too dark. My phone is looking really dark, but I think that's just the brightness setting on it. That's life right now, Billy. What can I say? That is life. I like eating donuts. And doing laundry. Don't forget doing laundry. See, eating donuts, live streaming, doing laundry, talking about my dreams. Dreams of home and land ownership. I want to own lots of stuff, not for the sake of owning it, but because I think income streams are important. Like, I want to own a laundromat, not because I'm care about owning a laundromat, but they're a good source of money. Just like storage. I was joking. Who was I joking with about? I was joking with my friend the other day about just buying some land and building a public storage like 1 unit at a time. If I could just build like 1 unit a week, just brick and mortar. But can't do that while I have a full-time job. But my folks were thinking about buying public storage, like investing in an income producing asset for a while, but they sort of gave up on it. They have money in the stock market and stuff, but what's up, Miss Christie? Well, everyone, it's kind of the romantic American dream, to get some land in the country and buy some property, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, the income part, I think, is not one of the more challenging parts necessarily, but it's certainly something, even if you saved up, ideally you'd want to kind of save up so that you have a couple of, all right, catching food, foraging, yeah, I know, right? If you had enough land to where you had like some wild animals on it, that would be kind of cool. But you can't really expect to buy land that you're going to have deer walking in your backyard. Plus, I'm pretty sure it still has to be in season. Take a deer out of season, even on your yard, you're gonna get in trouble with somebody. But yeah, that's the dream. Ultimately, like, if you ask me where I want to live right now, I don't care that much for the short term. But long term, I think I'd love to retire on like 20, 30 acres with kind of different vegetation. Not super dry, not pouring rain, but like a few months ago, I was looking at property in Oregon, and oh my God, just forest after lush forest, like everywhere. Every picture, I'm just like, oh, this is beautiful. This is so gorgeous. So many trees. But Oregon's kind of changing. Oregon used to be a lot more independent and kind of do their own thing, but the blue wave is reaching Oregon, and they're kind of changing slowly to perhaps a different type of state. The tour de force, I don't know what to call it, but this one is custard filled, chocolate covered, and it's interesting because the one at my local donut shop, which had a fire, not at their shop, but I think next door at the pizza place, took out the electricity. They have a chocolate custard one, but it's big and filled. It's like a fat one, but this is like a big flat one. Oh, I will, Billy Bird. I don't know if you realize how much I enjoy this donut. Immensely is a word I would use. Very good. Man, that's quality city life right there. You could make this donut. If I was homesteading in the desert like G-Bear, I'd probably be making donuts. You got nothing else to do, work on the beehive. Get the solar farm running. By the way, I know there's only 4 of you on right now, but if you haven't seen G-Bear's channel, go check it out. I think it's just called G-Bear. And his videos are often called Homesteading in the Desert. And he just bought some land and went out there, and I don't think there was a structure there. I can't even remember if he built the house that he has out there. I think he did. Because I think he started living out there in an RV and then he built a structure as he was living out there. But anyways, he's got solar power, wind power, chickens, plants, has a ton of detailed videos about how he does all his stuff. Really cool guy. I mean, I don't disagree, but it also depends kind of how much you want to get out of the land, right? I guess I always thought that if you're not really farming it or doing much to it, you're not going to spend much time on it. Like upkeep. But it wouldn't stop me. What are you doing? Because I'm eating the donut? Next video, how to prep from a hospital bed. Energy I feel from this donut. It's invigorating. It's going to carry me through the day. Call it the donut diet. I don't think you need to worry about that, Billy. I don't need to worry about how many donuts I've had, Billy. It's all right. Yeah, animals are work. Chickens aren't too bad. Chickens, I would say, probably the minimal amount of work for an animal. Even though they do take work, you gotta feed them and, keep the water clean, make sure they're healthy and stuff. But we had chickens for a little bit at my house in the city when I was a kid. But the raccoons, I think, figured out how to open up the egg checking lid, even though we had a latch on it. And I think they opened it up and grabbed them all. Because they were in a coop that was secured, but it was sad. Like every night we'd lose one. It's like a bad serial killer movie, cut to the next scene, like who's the next one to go. Poor chickens. Yeah, owning land is a lot of work, and that's, to the topic of the video. Secure, but I guess they figured out how to open it. I didn't really, maybe we didn't really think about, I swear we had somewhat decent of a latch on it. I don't think we locked it at night, but maybe we underestimated the raccoons. I mean, it wasn't like at ground level. They would have really, I feel like it was too high for them to sort of reach up and lift it up. Maybe they were a lot bigger in our area than we realized. But it must have been at least like 30 inches off the ground, maybe a little more. Clever little bastards that they are. I like raccoons, though. I know they eat like chickens, but yeah, perhaps not. Who knows? Maybe the aliens got the chickens. Maybe the chickens got out. Maybe they escaped. But that's kind of one, I suppose, depending on how you look at it, it could be considered a con for land, but it's also a pro that you can have eggs and chickens at some point to consume. And I'm sure, I'm sure when I ultimately get some land, it's going to be a lot more work than I ever anticipated, but I just think it's important. I don't know, to own land. I mean, wealth isn't the most important thing in the world, but I think owning land helps. Even in the sense that, like your family would never be homeless because you'd always have land in the family that you could live on that, your cousin and their wife and their kids lose their job and they they're renting an apartment and they're going to be on the street until who knows when. You have land, you have an extra bedroom, an extra guest house, even just some space. Like, hey guys, just buy an RV and come live on my property, as long as you want. To be able to do that for your family, I think, is nice. Life is unpredictable. You never know what's going to happen. I think land can be a lot cheaper potentially too. Of course, if you have a house on it, that tends to change it. But land being in rural areas, when you're talking about more than just a couple acres, uh, tends to be a little more affordable. I mean, you try to buy 10 acres in the city, you'll go broke. You're not even going to find most residential lots or anywhere close to that. But out in rural areas, 5, 10, 20 acres, a lot more common. House, of course, is a lot less maintenance, but you get a lot less utility. Part of the reason I want land is not just for the sake of owning land, but it's a lot easier to keep things when you have some space. Like if I wanted to keep a motorboat or a sailboat or an RV or, a couple trailers or something. Like even if I had a house, like a third of an acre house with a backyard, do you have side access to the backyard? Is there any way to get anything back there? Do you just have a driveway? Are you allowed to park, RVs on your street for more than 3 days in a row, or a boat on your street? Is someone going to call the, parking police and say, oh, this guy's had his boat parked in front of his house for 3 days. Come, he's got to move it. So it just kind of gives you a little more freedom to own things that you might want to use, like a tractor or something, and not run out of space and have your whole backyard filled up with things. If I wanted to build a barn so I could build a plane, oh, I got crazy ideas. I know, building planes and buying boats. I was watching. I can't remember what his name is, but he has an excavation channel, and he was doing this video on all these different excavation machines that he owned. And he ended the video, and he's like, oh, and I bought this jet ski, and I bought this jet ski, and I got all these snowmobiles. And I'm thinking, yeah, that's why you want to have space, because you can't fit, 4 snowmobiles and 4 jet skis in a backyard and have space to walk around. But yep, those are the options. Or just rent. Do you just keep renting forever? I all gotta live somewhere. And you may as well have your primary place of residence somewhere, something that's more than you just sleep. Because if all you're doing is sleeping at your house and hanging out, watching TV or whatever, I don't feel like you're getting most utility out of your property. Doesn't mean that, you have to like run your own business out of your home necessarily, but I think just being a renter for so long, you almost forget like how nice it is to have a backyard, or to be able to do laundry at your place and not have to like drive somewhere to do laundry. This place is right down the street from me. It's not that big of a deal, but it's the little things. The little things like doing laundry and having a garage where I could set up a chop saw and have some tools and not shove everything under my bed. Windsurfing boards, surfboards, bicycles. You can only, I could live the rest of my life with a bicycle in my living room, but I don't need a bicycle in my living room or upstairs. My place is like a nightmare to try to get furniture into. I need a ranch house, 1 level. It's the way to go. But I think I'm going to head back in and get back to my laundry. And then of course I was going to go shopping, but I don't have my shopping bags with me. Oh, that's so aggravating. I always forget it. I'm supposed to put it in the car. There will be some more interesting outdoorsy something videos this year. Trying to free up a few weekends here and there. I don't have to work weekends, and I'm not working every weekend, but we got some priority stuff at work. So sometimes you just got to do what you got to do, get stuff moving, keep the higher ups happy, and the higher people are up, happier you want to keep them. It's the way to make things copacetic at work. All right, people, until next time, hope things are well. Hope you're having fun with your property, with your backyard, with your boats and snowmobiles and jet skis.